Good morning. Welcome to our webinar on CRM for distribution. My name is Erica Foley. I am the Director of Project Management Services here at Behringer Technology Group, and I'm also the Product Manager for CRM for distribution. And today I'm going to show you an introduction to CRM for distribution and show you some of the new features in the latest release, version 18. And time permitting, we'll open it up for questions at the end. So for those of you who are new to CRM for distribution, this is a custom managed solution created here at Behringer Technology Group that is powered exclusively on Microsoft Dynamics 365 and tailored for wholesale distributors. Our Dynamics 365 solution includes a number of different features, many of which we're going to highlight for you today. When we first started getting into Dynamics implementations here at Behringer, we noticed a few years ago that many of our customers are wholesale distributors, manufacturers, supply chain type companies, and we heard many of the same requirements over and over again. So as we started our implementation process and we would assess people's requirements, we would hear things like, I need a better way to track my profitability with my customers. I need an easier way to see my ERP data in a single platform with my CRM data. And so what we developed is a solution that provides integration with your ERP system on the back end and displays that data in a single unified interface within Dynamics 365. We are able to show you your transactional data, your quotes, your orders, your invoices, and all the related line items for those particular transactions. We're able to then calculate many different data points using that data to show you your sales history, your customer ranking, your profitability, your cost to serve, even your invoice aging, and many, many other points. So let's step through some of the details of how that works. In addition to building our platform for Dynamics 365, we have behind the scenes our DataSync Cloud integration. The DataSync Cloud integration works in a bidirectional fashion between your ERP system and Dynamics 365. So all the integration points are listed on the right-hand side of the screen here. We have different frequencies for how often data is integrated between the systems. We integrate customers, prospects, contacts, ship-tos, and suppliers and vendors, as well as bringing over customer notes and pricing libraries. And then periodically throughout the day, we also run updates on quotes, orders, invoices, components, and items. So when this integration is running between your two systems, we actually monitor that on the back end for all of our customers. We address any issues that come up with your integration, but primarily we're keeping an eye on things to make sure that the system is running smoothly for all of our CRM for distribution customers. What this provides our customers is the flexibility to know that their data is being updated in close to real-time or real-time fashion, but they're also being able to use all of this information in a single platform. So by giving your customers and your end users access to this data within Dynamics 365 saves you the additional fee for licensing your ERP system for all of your sales, marketing, customer service end users who are already in Dynamics. So some of the high-level features, and we'll dive into these in just a few minutes in the application itself, include the ERP integration that I mentioned earlier. We also then take that information and automatically aggregate the sales history. And when we aggregate that sales history, we're showing it to you in a variety of time periods, including the calendar month to date, the fiscal year to date, your last fiscal year to date, as well as rolling 1 to 12 and 13 to 24 month periods. We also then have built-in analytics in the form of additional calculations as well as built-in reports and dashboards that come out of the box with the CRM for distribution solution. We have an automated customer ranking model that gets updated on a nightly basis, and we'll show you how that works. And then we also have a very flexible cost to serve model where you can set all of your organization's preferences on how cost to serve is calculated. We also support data from multiple companies. So if you happen to be a larger enterprise and you have multiple companies in your ERP system, we're able to support that data within Dynamics 365. We also have multiple currencies. So if you're doing business in many different geographies around the globe, we're able to support your transactions in dollars, euros, pounds, whatever your currency may happen to be. We allow quotes and orders to be linked to ship tos, and we have extended mobile client support. So the bidirectional integration is something new that we introduced in CRM FD version 18. And what that includes is the bidirectional integration of customers, prospects, and contacts. So as your end users are entering new customer information, new prospects, new contacts, or updating existing records that already have been integrated in the system, those changes or new records are being updated automatically into your ERP system. So this cuts down on manual data entry for teams that are working directly in the ERP system. We're also enhancing our support for multi-company and multi-currency data, so making that a lot more flexible and easy to use in this current version of CRM for distribution. We also built in recognition of cost and price for Profit 21 and other ERP service invoice components. So what that means is that your invoices may have line items that are priced for different products as well as services, and we recognize the difference between those two, and that is carried over into our automated sales history aggregation. We have enhanced CRM for distribution navigation built into the application, so very easy to get to and manage your preferences if you happen to be an administrator for your organization. We've also created the ability to create opportunities from quotes with a single click, which I'll be able to show you in just a minute. We've optimized our code and indexes to enhance performance. So for anybody who's joined the call today who happens to have been using CRM for distribution for a period of time, you may have noticed that there's been a dramatic improvement in the performance of our integration. And what that means is that we're able to run those updates either overnight or frequently throughout the day in a much faster manner, making sure that we're not impacting your end users throughout the business day. And then we've allowed our quotes and orders, as I said, to be linked to ship tos. And again, we continue to expand our mobile client support. So as Microsoft Dynamics 365 extends the mobile client support built into the platform, we are taking advantage of that and enhancing the unified interface for CRM for distribution components as well. So what I'm going to do now is switch over to the application. Bear with me for just a second. And what I have open on the screen in front of me is a demo environment of CRM for distribution. And where I have landed when I logged into the application is one of our out-of-the-box CRM for distribution dashboards. This one happens to be the sales history dashboard. And you can see that there's many other dashboards. So if I wanted to show you some additional data points that you have available here, we also have our CRM for distribution main dashboard. And this just gives you a little bit of the flavor of all the different types of data that we're able to view in a single interface. So you'll notice here that in this particular dashboard, I can see open opportunities, which is part of our out-of-the-box CRM or Dynamics 365 functionality, as well as active customers, quotes not ordered, activities past due, sales rep by year to date, etc. So this is a nice mix of some of our CRM for distribution data consolidated with out-of-the-box Dynamics data. If I go back to my sales history dashboard, what you can see here is that now we're able to also show you very detailed charts or graphs based on ERP data that has been integrated into the system. So here you can see our customers by rank, our delinquent accounts, so those who are past due on their invoices. We can see who our top 5 active customers are, our top 5 sales reps, and much, much more. So this is, again, just the flavor of some of the data that's available out of the box with CRM for distribution. Now from here, I'm going to drill into our data. And in this case, I want to look at our active customers. So I can view our active customers in more detail, just like with any dashboard component in Dynamics 365. And when I look at our top 5 customers, I see that Bayberry Construction is the top ranking customer here in my Dynamics database. So to view more about that, I'm going to go ahead and click into Bayberry. Now, as this opens up, what you're going to notice is that this account view that's being loaded really is not unlike other account profiles that you may be used to seeing in Microsoft Dynamics 365. We have our basic summary information, our relationship assistant, our social pane, etc., all loaded at the top of the screen. And when we drill into the details of this particular account, what we're going to learn is much, much more of all the different sections of data that we're bringing over, or sets of data that we're bringing over from the ERP system. And before I show you the ERP data, what I'd like you to notice is that within the account information, you'll see that many of our fields have a padlock here indicating that they're read-only. What this indicates are the data points that are included in our regular integration powered by DataSync Cloud. So everything that we know here about this particular account with a padlock has actually been pre-populated using that automated integration. As I move into the CRM for distribution details, we'll start with a customer ranking. So customer ranking is automatically calculated for us on a nightly basis. We have a custom workflow built into our solution that does this for us. And what it does is it looks at our sales for the last 365 days for this particular customer and compares it to that same figure for all of our other active customers in the system. It takes that number and it ranks it on a bell curve. So we have different thresholds of where the customers are going to fall within that bell curve. This particular customer happens to be our best overall, and so it falls into that top rank with a small, very small subset that are automatically ranked with a letter A. Our next subset is a little bit larger as we go up and over the bell, and those would be ranked as Bs, and then our largest set are going to be ranked as Cs, and so on and so forth. Now, this is an automated process. However, I can manually adjust the rank if I choose to do so. And on the right-hand side, you'll see that I do have a rank adjustment feature available. And here I can choose to auto rank this customer. I can choose not to rank them at all and exclude them from the model, or I can choose manually to set the rank based on the business that I am currently managing as a sales rep. So let's say I want to set the sales rank or this customer rank to letter B. When this record gets saved, it will automatically update the current rank to B, and it will update the prior rank to A. So at any time, I can look at this customer ranking and see when it has changed and what it changed from and to. And I'll set that back to auto rank because I want the system to do the heavy lifting for me. Now the next section I'd like to show you is our sales history. So sales history looks at our invoices for this particular customer, and it runs a series of calculations on a nightly basis. So the first set of calculations is showing us our sales history by the calendar month to date. And this is showing us our sales, our cost, our gross profit, our margin, the currency. So again, we do support multiple currencies throughout the system. How many orders this customer has placed with us this month, our operating profit, and our cost to serve, which I'll talk about a little more in a few minutes. We also show you these figures on the fiscal year to date, as well as the last fiscal year to date, so you can see how you're doing year over year. And just to make it a little bit easier, we show you what that variance is fiscal year versus last fiscal year to date. You can see here that our sales from the current fiscal year have improved 11% over the last fiscal year. And these numbers are automatically updated on a nightly basis as well. But when we get to the end of the fiscal year and we're not seeing new sales because our year has basically reset to zero, we still want to know how we're doing with this customer. and how we're doing compared to where we were a year ago. So in order to solve that challenge, we've built in rolling 1 to 12 months as well as rolling 13 to 24 months and calculated the variance between those periods as well. So no matter where you are in your fiscal year, you'll always be able to run a comparison of year-over-year performance. At the bottom of this section, we'll always show you your open order value as well as when the sales history was last updated. So every night this sales history is going to automatically update, and all of the figures above are going to automatically update based on what has transpired in your ERP system throughout the day. The next section I want to show you is our sales history by supplier. So we have all this information, and when we open up our sales history, it shows us how we're doing overall with the customer. But what if we want to know more about the sales that we have with this customer and what products they're buying? They may be buying different item groups. They may be buying items that are sourced by different suppliers. And we want to know how we're doing supplier by supplier as well. So in this particular subgrid, I'm able to see what our sales are by supplier for this particular customer. And again, I can see my year-to-date sales and my year-to-date cost, my year-to-date profit, and my year-to-date margin. But I can also see those figures for last year-to-date, and I can see month-to-date as well. And if I scroll on to the right, I can also see rolling 1 to 12, rolling 13 to 24, and so on and so forth. So lots and lots of data points available in the system. And because these data points are built into the system, these can be used for a variety of different purposes. We can use them to drive different sales campaigns. We can use them as marketing data. We can even begin to craft marketing lists based on this data. So lots and lots of options available. And if we want to learn more about what this customer is actually buying, we can look at things like our sales history by item group. So in this particular case, we're putting supplier aside for the moment and just focusing on the item groups that the customer is purchasing within. And we can see where they're spending their money. And again, this is available year to date, last year to date, month to date, and so on and so forth. Now, the next section I want to show you is the cost to serve model. So a very common challenge for sales organizations is knowing how profitable you are with each of your customers. And so to address that challenge, what we have designed here is a very, very flexible cost to serve solution. The cost to serve model here shows you different amounts from our sales history combined side by side with our cost to serve model. Now, what cost to serve includes in our solution is a variety of different amounts that you're spending based on how you interact with this customer or how you serve the customer. And what that includes is a combination of different activities as well as direct costs through expenses within the system. So when I look at the different activities that I could be doing with this particular customer, that could be a combination of appointments, it could be phone calls, it could be tasks, it could be working on cases. So lots of different ways that I interact with a customer and lots of different ways that my organization services a customer. In some cases, we want that cost to be tallied up by the amount of time we're spending with that customer. So for example, if I have an appointment with that customer and I spend 2 hours with them, I want to calculate the cost of those 2 hours that my resources spent with them. But if I have somebody answering the phone and answering a quick question about an order, checking on an invoice, maybe even just taking a message for somebody to follow up, that might be a very routine task that I want to calculate a cost for just based on the instance rather than how much time or how few minutes I've spent on the phone with them. So we give you the flexibility of deciding how you want those costs to be calculated. Do you want them to be calculated by the hour? Do you want them to be calculated by the instance? And you could have whatever variety of options you choose. So you could choose appointments by the hour, you could choose cases by the hour, and you could choose phone calls by the instance and tasks by the instance. And together, those different amounts will be consolidated to make up your cost to serve. We also give you the ability to enter your expenses into the system. So if you wanted to track how much you're actually spending out of pocket on servicing, entertaining, traveling to visit a customer, you can enter those amounts into Dynamics 365 as well. And that gets factored into the cost to serve model in addition to all of the other costs I just mentioned. And then we take all that information and we consolidate it by month to date, fiscal year to date, and last fiscal year to date. So now within a single system, you'll be able to see just how much it's costing you to service your customer, and you'll be able to start calculating how profitable you truly are with them. Okay, so moving on, now we get into the different transactions. So all those aggregations are really great and they serve a number of different purposes. But what if we want to dig into the individual transactions that we have with a specific customer? If I'm a salesperson getting ready to meet with a customer, I want to see, have they actually placed orders based on all the quotes that I've given them? Where are those open quotes? How much were those quotes for? And where do I want to focus with that customer when I sit down and start talking with them? So here, when I'm looking at my quotes not ordered, what I'm able to see are the quotes right off the top that the customer has been given, but they haven't actually ordered yet. And what I can do here is I can drill into a specific quote. I'm just going to double click here just like I would to drill into any other record in Dynamics. And as this quote opens, you'll notice that the line items are included here as well. So just like on the account profile, what you're seeing here on the quote is information that came from the ERP system. So I could drill into the quote line items. I can see the details by line item, if there were any discounts or freight amounts or taxes applied here. I could see those amounts as well. And what I have on the right-hand side is a feature that we included in our CRM for distribution solution that allows us to create an opportunity from the quote. So all you would need to do is simply check a box, and the system will automatically create an opportunity in Dynamics 365 using all of the quote information. What this allows you to do is add a quote that was created in ERP to your forecast or your pipeline in Dynamics. So as quotes get created, we may have different versions of quotes, we may have multiple quotes that a customer has asked for, but we have the ability to choose which ones we think are more likely for the customer to actually act on, and we can choose which ones we want to forecast on. So a simple click of a checkbox will automatically trigger that workflow, and it's already created for me and it's in my pipeline. So going back to my customer. I've looked at my sales history, I've looked at my cost to serve, I've looked at my quotes not ordered, but as a sales rep, I may want to just jump directly to the items that I've quoted for this customer that they haven't ordered yet. So here I'm going to look at my quote items not ordered. And now I can see the individual products that I've quoted for this customer. I've given them pricing, but they haven't yet pulled the trigger on the order. So I know where my greatest potential is for additional sales. I can see the trend of what items that they've been asking about and asking for pricing on, and I know exactly what I want to focus on the next time I meet with this customer. I also have the ability to look at my orders. So in this particular subgrid, I have my orders not invoiced. So what this tells me is that my customer has placed some orders with my organization, but one or more of the products on those orders has not yet been fulfilled. And I can see here not just the total amount of the overall order, but I can see the percent invoice. So that shows me how much of this order from a dollar amount has not yet been fulfilled. And I can also do some quick math in my head to see, okay, how much has been fulfilled and what's been invoiced for that particular order. If I want to, I can drill into the orders just like I drilled into the quote, and I would be able to see the line item details, and I can also see the details of the order line item as far as the status of that item. Is it back ordered? Is there another problem that's holding it up from being fulfilled? So if I drill into a line item here, oops. I can see more information about this particular line item. And again, this all comes from CRM for distribution and our Data Sync Cloud integration with the ERP system. So I can see the pricing details, I can see if there was a discount, I can see the quantity ordered, etc., etc. And if it were back ordered, I would see that down here as well. Going back to my customer. In addition to quotes and orders, I also have invoice information built into the system. So for invoicing, we do have an extra feature included in our configuration here called invoice aging. Now what invoice aging does is it looks at our invoices that are still open, so there's still a balance due to my organization, and it breaks them out into different buckets. So I can see how much this particular customer has been invoiced and has not yet paid within various periods of time. And we break that into 30 days and under, 31 to 60, 61 to 90, and anything over 90 days in age. And then we total all that up. So with one single field, we can see the total outstanding that this customer happens to have with my company. And I can also see when this was last updated. So I see that this was updated at 1 a.m. And it's possible that this customer has submitted payments to my organization since this was last updated. So it's merely for informational purposes. It's not an accounting system. But it gives your sales organization that sense of mind that this customer may or may not be keeping up with their invoices. So when you're planning out who you want to meet with, who you want to focus on, who you want to target for different promotions or marketing campaigns, you can take this into account and determine whether or not this is a customer who's good to do business with and whether or not you want to focus more time on them. Now in this particular instance, looking at the customer, we also have our invoices where we can look at what invoices have been sent to this customer. We can drill into those invoices just like the other transactions, and we can see what the line items are that they have ordered over time. And then I can also look at those details right here on the screen in my invoice details for customers, so I can see what are the products that they've been invoiced for. So this also shows me the converse of the order items that I showed you a little while ago, where now I can see the items that they not only order but have been shipped and billed. Okay. So there's a lot of information available. Again, this is all right on the customer profile in a single screen. This information is available not just in the web interface like I'm showing you here, but it's also available in the mobile client. So if you have users who are out in the field, they're working on a tablet, they're working on their cell phone, they will be able to access this information as well. Now, in addition to looking at the customer level or the ship to level, I also can look at this information in a variety of other methods. So within CRM for distribution, we also have the ability to look at our item groups. And what I want to show you here is that not only do I have my breakdowns of sales to my customers and my ship tos by all the different time periods, but I also have my sales aggregated for my item groups as well. So you can see here for all of my different groups, I have my overall month-to-date sales, cost, profit, margin, as well as my year-to-date figures and my last year-to-date figures. So if I want to do some analysis on how we're doing as an organization overall based on product, not just based on customer, I have that information available again right here in Dynamics 365. Now I'm going to drill into an item group. And when I look at this particular item group, I can see again that these different data points are included in my integration. And I have my sales history by item group readily available. So with a click of a button, I can see our sales history by item group for this particular group that I've selected. And I can see my calendar month to date, my fiscal year to date, and my last fiscal year to date figures, as well as the variance. So just like we saw with the customer, we're automatically calculating the variance in our sales cost and profit for fiscal year to date and last fiscal year to date for our item groups. And just like we showed you earlier for our customers, we're also calculating these item group sales by rolling 1 to 12 and 13 to 24 months, as well as calculating the variance there. And you can see that this hasn't been updated very recently, but in a live system, this gets updated also on a nightly basis. We also have our sales history by customer. So if we have multiple customers, you would see them all listed here. Again, this is a demo system, but you'd be able to see what various customers are buying within this product group based on the different time periods available. And then any notes that are added to the system regarding this product group, you'll be able to see those here as well. And we can enter our own notes here. So as you're working in Dynamics 365 and you want to add your notes about the item group, about your customers, your ship tos, your suppliers, your vendors, you have all of those out-of-the-box capabilities available. Now, I've shown you a lot of information that's built into the system. I just want to take a step back and show you a little bit more in the dashboard, just tying all of this together so you can see again at a high level the different information coming together, what we have available out of the box. So a little while ago, I talked about our CRM for distribution cost to serve model. We've also built in a dashboard showing you cost to serve and expenses in a graphical interface as well. So we can see what our expenses are year to date based on different activity types. So you can see this is broken out by appointments, cases, expense reports, etc. And I can see my different customers where I'm spending money throughout the year. And then I can also see who I'm spending on with regards to profit. So who are my most profitable customers after I've factored in that cost to serve model. And I can also see my bottom customers. So the ones that I'm not really making as much profit on as I might have thought. And just tying that all together. Having all this information in a single system really gives us a lot of analytics and reporting capabilities that we don't necessarily have if we keep ERP and CRM separated. But using CRM for distribution brings it all together. So those are all the features that we wanted to show you today regarding CRM for distribution. Once again, we are Behringer Technology Group, and if you do have more questions or want to learn more about our solution, feel free to contact us. My contact information is displayed on the screen. And if we do have lots of time available, I can go ahead and open it up for questions. Okay, I'm not seeing any questions on the line. So again, I want to thank you for your time this morning. We hope to hear more from each of you as you want to learn more about CRM for distribution and Behringer Technology Group. And we thank you for attending.